I'm confident to go pursue my dreams. You know what I mean? I would tell myself that every single day. And one day I just woke up and I didn't even have to say it. I just knew it. It became a belief of mine, and it switched my mind completely, where it's like, I don't need that outside validation. I have it within myself. So it's like, I don't care what happens. I know who I am. So I'm at work one day and I'm sitting there, and one of my supervisors had came up to me and she was telling me she wanted me to cover for the front desk. And I always told myself, I'm a surgical coordinator. I'm not going to front desk. Like I told you, once you have a different career or a different thing in your life, like, you don't want to go back to a front desk. Nothing against front desk people. They're the greatest. They actually deal with a lot more than they should have in the medical field. But I wasn't about to go back after all the work I put in. And I said, no more. I'm done. And that day I put in my 2-week notice, which was in March of this year. And I said, that's it. I'm going full time into my social media, into my pictures, into my acting, into, what makes me happy.
So you literally, on a whim, you're just like, fuck this.
Yep. Because I know I was like, I'm not happy.
No plan, no backup, no nothing. You just
No
said,
experience, but the difference is she really just picked herself up. Like throughout that whole story, it was like, I gotta be the one that picks me up. No one else is going to be there for me. No one else is going to help me get up. I gotta get through the worst part of my life thus far. Mm-hmm. No one realizes every relationship that you get into, you give a whole lot more. Yeah. And it takes a whole lot more for you to get out of that relationship as well.
Right. And a lot of people like to act as if they're so tough, as if something doesn't hurt them. But when you build a life with somebody, you know what I mean?
Shit's very hard to walk away from.
It's very hard to walk away from, especially if you still love that person. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard. And it's okay. Like, and I preach, the healing journey. I think it's necessary. I think people need to have that space to find themselves after a relationship and not jump into something right after.
Absolutely.
Because you keep repeating the same stuff if you just try to mask it. You got to deal with your own demons at the end of the day. And doing that is what made me realize I don't want to spend another day unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do nothing that makes me unhappy anymore.
I actually want to lead into, and I hate to do this, but I got to ask Chris now. Chris, I mean, you were in a very similar spot. Chris...
This is right up my alley, bro.
I was going to say,
that's called right bottom for Chris. That's right bottom for Chris.
Chris has, by the way, in case the world doesn't know, I'm about to throw your business out there. So Chris has 2 amazing kids, my nephew and my niece. And I got to tell you, they're fantastic. I fucking love those kids.
No, Elliot's not fantastic.
Yeah.
He's not bad.
Yeah, he's a little turd.
But
my sweetie,
we're always hard on our son.
Yeah, that's real parent.
But
You can tell them that.
At the same token. At the same token.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to go through a very similar thing, but you were coming through a recovery process,
right?
And you had to make a decision. Like, are you going to try and build a life with this person that you had both your kids with? I mean, what was that like?
It's like exactly what she said. I had to find myself before I can even be any help to them. Right. I had to help myself before I could help them. And in order to do that, I had to focus on me, and I had to see the inner problem within myself and somehow try to fix that, Yeah. And by doing so, it's like Keon and I had a discussion about this early on the road. This is something that I can't do on my own. If I could have, I'd have done it already.
Yeah.
This is something I had literally had to go seek help with. And we're talking counseling. We're talking alcoholic meetings, we're talking AA meetings, we're talking sponsors, we're talking, years of work to see what it is that's going on inside me, and practice like steps, like actual steps works that I've had to do. And I mean, we're so in situations of let's see, of me not understanding something, or situations that I see myself failing in or or succeeding in.
Yeah.
I put myself in these situations, and every night I do this. I put myself in a neutral zone. It's more or less like, okay, yeah, I might like this, but is it something I should be doing? I have to, every night I have to do this. I write down, was I selfish? I write down, who did I hurt? Who did I help? All these things I write down, and all these things I do every night that make me the person who I am today.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. You have to take yourself out of yourself, look at it as what you're doing, and then post that, and then put that in your life as you're doing what it is you're doing.
Not post it on social media.
Right, don't post it on social media.
It's the accountability. It's 100% taking accountability for you.
Yeah.
And that is very hard for people to do.
Yeah.
So it's like, I see all the time on social media where women sit there and complain and are hurt or bitter over what a man did to them or how long a man played them or whatever situation that they're in. But at the end of the day, I stayed.
Yeah.
I'm the one that continued to allow this type of behavior. And even in your sense, you're the one that continued in your behavior that made it happen. So it's like, once I realized that he's not like the devil. It is also me. I have to take accountability for that. I stayed when I'm not a victim. You know what I mean? Like, it changes the whole ball game when you're able to look at yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? It makes you more aware.
Get that mic in. I want everybody to hear what you're saying right now.
Is it not?
No, when you turn a little bit,
Oh, okay.
We've had that issue in the past.
So it's just the accountability. You know what I mean? Like, me not having it close enough.
There you go.
It's my fault.
I was told by a wise man that if I have a problem, there's something in my problem that I'm doing wrong.
Correct.
I just can't blame it all on somebody else. There's something in my problem that I'm doing wrong.
Keon, we're the problem.
Yeah, we're the problem. I'm always the problem. But I'm okay with that. See, I got a dad that's just like me, and a lot of people don't have time. They don't really sit down and talk to someone like your parents.
Right.
They're just like you. That you have the same mannerisms, you have the same attitude, same pitch. It's just correlating with one or the other.
Right.
My dad says at his age, at 60, he was like, if you don't deal with your issues when you're young, man, they're going to come all pouring back when you get older. Yeah. And you're going to go in a downward spiral where you can't get yourself out of that.
Yeah.
You just had an encumbrance with a lot of drugs that just kept you going down. Where you didn't feel good unless you had those things.
Absolutely.
My dad, on the other hand, it was just relationship after relationship until he got into a stable relationship to where this woman treated him like gold. He didn't do anything wrong. 21 years of a successful marriage where they communicated properly and they really did love each other wholeheartedly in that regard. It's just money changes the way in which you look at life. He got a shit ton of money and was like, I can do this all by myself. And then after he got that money, he was like, I only want to spend that money on her or with her. Yeah. So why did I give up what I had thinking that it was going to be better with some money? Money didn't make me feel better. It would have made this relationship a whole lot better because we'd have been able to do a whole lot more things together. So he regrets leaving his past relationship because it was healthy. It was what he needed, and it was a great relationship. So I was able to sit down and talk to him and say, what are you doing now? And he's like, I'm dealing with the issues that I'm my own enemy. It's I don't call it enemy. I call it inner me. The enemy is the inner me.
Yeah.
So I got to get away from those thoughts, like you were saying.
Yep.
And I'm my own enemy. So how can I be my own cheerleader as well?
Yeah, you know what's really crazy is there's some people that we come across that we're talking about right now, and I know this is a huge topic amongst people in general, right? Mm-hmm. Relationships and how you cohabitate and how you handle breakups, and how do you really find yourself during those moments? But at the same time, like, there's some people we come across that they're extremely just self-aware. They're just great at it. Amazing people, and it's funny because I know people on both spectrums. And to be honest, like listening to your story right now, it's really fucking hard for me to believe it. Because I mean, because when we were walking through the halls in high school, like the way you carry yourself is always like, yo, I'm a bad bitch. Like, I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I always saw so much confidence when it came to how you carried yourself. So hearing this story, I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of fucking blown away a little bit because I'm like, this is like the most confident. When I was in high school, there was like an echelon of people that you know, popularity and all that bullshit, and it was like. Knowing her a little bit, because we weren't like best friends or anything, but you know, we were acquaintances, you know,
which most people in high school are.
Chat, we were cool, and you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, like she exuded this outer level of confidence. But then hearing now, deep down, like you were one of those that was like, hey, but deep down, you're like, fuck. Am I good enough? Like, am I this? Am I that? And it's like, that's a shocking thing to hear now.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of wild listening to the story. I'm a little like, oh, fuck, really?
You know what's so crazy? Even from high school and after that, like every person that I meet new always tells me I have this like very intimidating, like persona.
I told you that. I literally said that.
Where like they feel like if they don't know me and they just see me out, they'll be like, oh, she thinks she's too good for everyone, or she's stuck up, or, you know, she's intimidating, or whatever the case is. But I'm really not. I'm like,
you know what it is? It's just Chicago. That's what it is.
It's just you know Chicago. What? And I think about that. And I remember growing up in Chicago and like being in school because I was always on guard, you know, to defend myself growing up, that it was like I had to have that persona. Yeah. I had to have that exterior being hard or having that kind of no nonsense type of face, because it's like if you don't, they're going to think you're soft.
A pushover.
And I couldn't have that growing up.
And I was going to say, you can't have that in Chicago. So
no.
But so again, now fast forward a little bit. So now you are now, like we said, we're getting into the today years.
Yes. Okay. So we were talking about the manifesting, finding my why I wanted to go into social media.
Get into the start of social media. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So so when I gave my notice in, I said I'm going to go full time into what I love. And I remember after the last, day of work, I was driving home. I called my best friend and I was so excited and I started crying, and she's like, what are you going to do? Like, I said, I'm going full time into my social media. I'm going to take it seriously. I'm going to push, manifesting and law of assumption. I'm going to push, women empowerment, but also just people empowerment. Like, I'm not towards just one gender. Like, it's just everybody, just that confidence and things like that.
So not Andrew Tate. Definitely not. Like, the Andrew Tate's all dude all the time.
No, I'm about everybody. I feel like I'm also a huge, I believe women should have that confidence. Yes. Because women who are confident, it's a whole other level. It's what the world needs. But I also feel like it's just a people empowerment when it comes to confidence. And it's like every person should feel like they are everything. Every person should have that confidence to go towards something they love or want to do. Every person should feel good enough. You know what I mean? And we would have a world full of less haters in the world if there were people who love themselves.
But some people need that. Like, I need someone to be my adversary. I need someone to be the best.
Which is wild. It's crazy. Why? And that's because their self-concept.
It's
not on point.
The one thing I will disagree with you on that is I think the competitive nature that you're talking about. I would say this in sports. In sports, because I've lived my life through sports all the time. I mean, if you remember, I was big into football, weightlifting, all that. Played in college, all that shit, right? So if there was a time like, oh, fuck, Michael Jordan, great. If I didn't have a competitor on the other team, I'd just make some shit up. just to find an adversary, something to compel him to move himself to the next level. You know what I mean? So I get where you're coming from on that, but I would say depending on the realm and how far you take it, then
I was just about to say, because the greatest athletes, the greatest singers, the greatest models, anybody who is great, they will all say the same thing. There is no one to compete with besides themselves. They go into the gym competing against themselves. They don't see nobody else. When they go into the booth to sing, they don't see nobody. When a rapper goes into the booth to rap, they don't rap against anybody. It's them versus them at the end of the day. So it's like the greats are always competing against them. They don't see nobody else.
I mean, when you think about Jordan, when he says, I took that offensive. When you think about...
I took that personally.
What?
When
Jordan's one of the biggest ones who sat there and said you need to go against yourself.
Yeah, but as he's going against himself, he was still like going to games thinking like, if they got a top rebounder, I'm going to out-rebound that guy. It had
for
nothing...
himself. It wasn't about them. It was for him because I want to be better for myself.
For myself, but he still had to have... that adversary. If you have anybody that's great at anything, someone told them they shouldn't be doing it. Like, why are you doing that?
But do you feel like naturally, when you are competing to be best against yourself, you naturally have people that want to be just as good as you, or not better, right?
Yeah.
It naturally comes with the territory. So if you're working against yourself to be the best basketball player that you can ever be for yourself, because that's what you want for yourself, you're naturally going to have those competitors come in. But it's not you fighting against them. It's just you fighting against yourself. Ain't it?
Yeah.
Like,
that's why I said, but you still have that hater. Like, you still have that person that doesn't want you.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, you can't have some people like myself. We need that fuel. We need the people that are saying, you can't do this. Now I can prove you wrong. Because if not, I wouldn't give it that much energy. I wouldn't give it all I got, because now I have something to prove wrong. Now I have someone.
I agree to that exact, because when I first started this journey, when I quit my job, like even my family, they're like, "Are you crazy? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna pay for this? How are you gonna pay for that? Like, how is this gonna work? Like, what? Like, I'm the first person of my family to do something like this." So at first they were making fun. You know what I mean? They would laugh at me, call me crazy. And even though I saw something or a vision in my mind, you know what I mean? But the fact that my family especially were one of the biggest doubters that I had, you know what I mean? I get what you're saying when it comes to that. Like, okay, bet, watch this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you needed that. If not, you'd have just been out there and you went through the motions. Some days you wake up thinking, I'm going to prove them wrong. Some days this is because every day can't be the same. You can't have the same range of emotions each and every day. I can eat the same thing and I still need some more fuel. That's the reason why they make energy drinks.
So
that's the reason why they make energy drinks.
So where you're coming from is you can tell yourself you're the best and be the best up until reality, you play somebody that actually is better, and which will inspire you to even get better than that rival.
No, not even that. Like, say, for example, when I ran track in college, I was really just running by myself because, in football, you're training for the 40. So if I'm running the 55, these guys are training for track. And I'm doing this for football. So I'm beating everybody and I have no competition.
Right.
So how do you still stay competitive in track? If anybody's ever run track, you have to have a rabbit, someone that's faster than you. That way you have someone to go after. But if you're the fastest person out there, how do you motivate yourself?
Right.
See, when it comes to the law of assumption.
There you go.
Yeah. So when it comes to law of assumption,
I like how she did that real smooth too. Go ahead.
So law of assumption is basically you tell yourself what you are. You know what I mean? And that manifests into your life and it changes your self-concept when it comes to your subconscious mind, right? So if you worked on your subconscious and you told yourself, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. You tell yourself that all the time in whatever area that you're into. You wouldn't even need any outside motivation. You are your motivation. So it's like, I'm the best every day. It doesn't matter what comes in or goes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the best, and I'm going to continue being the best no matter what happens or who comes along. I don't need that motivation on the outside. I give it to myself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think that's a level of growth. You had to get to that point.
Oh,
No one comes out.
When you're saying affirmations to yourself, a lot of people get it misunderstood. Like, oh, I'm going to wake up and say, I'm rich, right? You look in the mirror, I'm rich. Next day, I'm rich. A week later, I'm rich, and you're still not rich. So you're like, man, this is not working, right? This is some bull, you know? And that's when people give up. But we learn as humans, we learn by repetition. So everything we learn from being a kid is by repetition, our ABCs, our 1, 2, 3, everything. So it's like, what happens is every day you repeat that affirmation over and over and over again. When you think it, when you think the opposite, you switch it. Constantly switching it. Your subconscious mind is going to take that and accept it as your truth, right? And the moment your subconscious mind accepts that as your truth, guess what? It reflects back to you. So everything that you live in life is a reflection of your beliefs, is a reflection of your assumptions. He knows, nah, I'm good. I'm an alcoholic, but I can be around all of this. I'm good. He knows that in his heart. It's true. So guess what? He doesn't have to, because he tells himself that constantly every day. So it becomes his reality. You know what I mean? And that is the biggest key to manifesting. Is people don't understand. It's not a one day thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I didn't have my father growing up. I didn't meet him till I was 13. So I never felt chosen, wanted, loved, respected, admired, and all that stuff. So it reflected back in my relationships. Every relationship I had, I didn't feel that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now I continuously tell myself, no matter what, you know, I'm chosen, I'm good enough, I'm worthy, I'm special, I'm smart. Like, I tell myself these things all the time, and I believe those things now. So those are the men that are coming into my life now are in a whole different caliber from when I was feeling the lowest about myself. You know what I mean? The type of men that I attracted before to now is it's different.
Yeah, it's
you know
very
what I mean?
different.
It's completely different. The way I'm treated and what happens and how I'm respected is completely different, because I look at myself that way.
I feel you. So
yeah.
Okay, honestly, I love that topic, because that's a big one amongst stage.
I definitely want to go into that.
I want to dive into now. So obviously, you know, you, like you said, you're big into social media. You do a lot of modeling pics, and how do you handle being a social media influencer, being a little bit of, you know, of a model? Because there's different perspectives on this profession.
Yes, there's many.
And
yes,
there's a lot of people that would come in and say, "Oh, you're a sex symbol. You're this, you're that."
Oh, I love it.
You know?
Say it all day. Yes, and
yes,
and is.
Okay, so like when you post some, you know, some stuff, and we might have some stuff on the side posted up of some of your model pictures, but I mean, how do you handle the different feedback that you'll get? Because obviously, if you're posting something that's really showing a lot, like, hey, this is what I am, this is my body, this is it. Like, how do you handle that, especially the negative feedback? Because there's some people that are gonna come at you and say, hey, that's not right. Like, how do you handle that?
I don't care.
Damn.
So the biggest thing is, like, I get that a lot from my family more than anybody, about what it is I post and what they feel like I should post or not post. And my biggest thing is that a woman should feel empowered about what she has in her body and post what she wants to post. And if anyone has a problem with anything I ever post, that's a them problem. It's not a me problem.
Okay.
If someone, and it took a long time for me to get to that mindset where I don't care what anyone thinks.
Okay. So
it takes a lot to get to that mindset, but I got to it, and I don't really care what anyone thinks about it.
So how do you feel like you said, you have a 15-year-old.
Yes.
I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. There's some things that have come across, like if Avery's 18 to 21, fuck. You know, like, I mean, there's some shit if like, and I'm not saying specifically that you've posted, but just some things.
Oh, no, they're specific. I already know what you're talking about. It's specific, especially my ass picture.
I don't know if I saw that one.
On Instagram.
I did. Shout out. You know what I mean? I did.
So, but okay, so we'll use that example. Maybe we'll post it up.
Put it on the side right here.
Put it on the side right there, just above. But
shout out to the producer.
Saying, like,
make sure you put that right next to me.
There's been people that have posted, you know, from social media influencers,
right,
where I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, when I was 21. Like, I'm gonna scroll through it, like, what's up, right? But then now, you know, I have a 9-year-old daughter. Like, what happens when she's 18? What if she's posting that up? Like, what am I gonna think? What am I gonna say?
I mean, you gotta look at it like that's confidence. A lot of women aren't. I think it's this 8 out of 10 women don't like how they look in the mirror.
Well, that's the thing, though. It to me, and again, this is just me. This is not. I don't think anybody should think exactly the way that I think. When it comes to your own. It's selfishness. When it comes to other people, it's like, yeah, flaunt what you got, right? But then when I'm talking about my daughter, I'm like, hey, don't be doing that shit,
right?
But you know what I'm saying?
You're
so
just being a dad.
That's the thing. It's a hard way to balance, because I know when the way that I parent is I tell my daughter to do what makes her happy, right? And I want you to be happy in your life, and I want you to feel empowered, and I want you to have, you know, self-manifestation, and I believe in all that as well, and I'm really glad you brought that up. But at the same time, if she's 21 years old and she's posting something on Facebook or Instagram like that, I'm going to be honest. Like, there's a part of me that's going to be like, fuck.
Which part? But the question is, what person do you want? Do you want the person that's free and happy? Or do you want the person that's depressed and doesn't know exactly who they are?
If that's a calling. I don't think, and I want to.
If that's her calling, whatever she decides.
I think if we veer back, I don't think you have to post that in order to feel happy. But at the same time, like, if that is something that really pushes ambition, because a lot of people will look at that almost as like soft porn. Right? Some people will do that. Some people will make the assumption that it's empowering. Some people will make all the.
It just depends on the person.
It depends on the person, right?
You know, which is no one's wrong and no one's right. I feel like everybody has a right to their own opinion.
Exactly.
Of how they feel about it, for sure.
So, I mean, I guess like you said, you just kind of brush them off. But
yes,
I mean, how do you feel when
it comes to my kid?
When it comes to what, Desi, right?
Desi.
Yeah, when it comes to Desi, like all of a sudden 21 years old.
We actually just had a conversation about this recently, which is wild that you asked me this question, because she was telling me how she felt in regards to that specific butt picture that I posted, right? Because I have never posted a picture like that.
Everyone go look at her social media.
That's the great one. We got it. It's the
Find her butt picture.
Yeah.
So she is 15 years old, and before that butt picture, she would always, you know, reshare my pictures on her Instagram or her social media. Like she'd always reshare those pictures, and she would have her friends all the time. She has a lot of guy friends, and I see them all the time, and they're always like, Desi, your mom is everything. Your mom's a MILF. Or they'll tease her about it, and she'll be like, whatever.
Damn, 15-year-old kid.
That's right there. That's right there.
Bro, I've had her friends try to add me on Instagram. I block them.
Oh my God.
Because this is not that type of party. So go away. But she told me, you know, how she felt about it. She's like, Mom, and she's a little different. She's more of a chill, laid back type of vibe. She's complete opposite from me. So like, she's like, I encourage what you do. I have faith in what you do. She's like, but it's just, you know, a little embarrassing because I'm at lunch or I'm with my friends and they're like pulling up my mom's ass on social media. And I'm like, but why are they on my social media? And I was like,
I mean, they're 15-year-old boys.
15-year-old
Like,
boys.
what are you talking about?
They horny as all outdoors.
Right. And I never want to make my daughter feel any type of way. But at the same time, what I told her was like, baby, I am me. I will always be me. I'm going to post whatever it is I want to post. I understand that affects you. If you want me to block certain people, you need to tell me that, you know, because at the end of the day, I'm your mother, but I'm also a woman. So I have to be true to me and also be true to you. And it might not look good on the outside, or you might get some, you know, difficulties from that, or from what I post. But at the end of the day, just know every single post that I post is for y'all too, because one day there's going to be somebody who's going to use that post as a promo for something. And to be able to use that certain post is money. They can't use my picture for no reason. They have to pay for that picture.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's always, everything I post is a business aspect. What am I going to get out of this? There can be a rapper. There can be a producer. There can be somebody for a movie. There can be somebody for a t-shirt brand. Anything. They're going to see that picture and they're going to be like, yo, that's dope. I'm going to use that. And that's money.
I think I'm pour more for that one.
I mean, you might want to refill hers as well.
Said,
You know, got a whole bottle over here.
It's money.
It's money. And that's how I look at things. I don't care how everyone else feels when it comes to it. My daughter, I second guess it. I'd be like, all right, baby, like, I entertain it. How do you feel? But at the end of the day, she's 15. I'm 33. So it's like, I'm still going to do what I feel as an adult I need to do. And if it gets us to a certain point that I want our family to be at, she'll be fine. She'll get over it. She's 15. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to say this is what comes with life. This is no different than mommy doing a job and being with the wrong person.
It comes with today's generation.
It comes with today's generation. You don't even know what's going to inspire her next. And that may open up an avenue for her to go into modeling and movies and so on and so forth. Like, all she's doing is opening up an avenue that wasn't open to you.
Exactly.
So you have to be. It has to be someone that's a trailblazer. It has to be someone that sets themselves apart. And you're going to be called crazy because what you're doing is outside of the norm.
The amount of times I've been called crazy, the amount of times I've been called delusional, cringy, everything that you can think of, I've been called it. And it's so crazy because I just posted on my Instagram today. It was basically telling like other influencers or content creators, like, no matter what anybody says to you, continue going on your path. The greats of the greats right now, you know what I mean, or any of all time, ignored everything that everyone said. And normally the people that would call them crazy are the people closest to them. You know, when you're doing something, my dad just made a comment, my poor daughter, what is she doing? You know what I mean? Like, he's so confused. I'm like,
see, that's where I wouldn't say it. I would never come out and say it because I'd always want to be a positive influence. But at the same time, like, you're talking about Avery, it's just like, oh fuck, what are you doing? You know.
Right.
But
she's gonna make
time, there's a whole other side to it it's hard for people to comprehend.
Yeah.
You know, and so let me ask you this then: how do you feel about some people would say that posting provocative images and I get the modeling industry is showing off your body, like that's what it is, and I think it's evolved a lot from when we were in the 1950s to now. Obviously, you know, there's a lot more skin, there's a lot more this, a lot more that. Like, some people would actually come in and say that it, as a female modeling, it would negatively impact men because it derives them to veer away from what they need to focus on because it put focus on something that they can't have, right? And then the reason why I'm saying this is because there was a post that I saw recently, if, you know, 12 steps to being successful or something. It was just some random thing, you know, scrolling on TikTok, whatever. But he said, avoid posts that involve, you know, model type photos like that, because that pulls you away from your ambition to be successful, right? What would you say to that person that's saying that to you?
Every person has their own accountability for what they allow to distract them or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Know thyself.
This man is a recovering alcoholic, and he's sitting here with all these drinks in front of him, and he's Gucci.
And he's Gucci.
I go to the bar sometimes and play pool.
So there's no
and hang out.
excuse. I feel like it's an excuse. You need to take accountability for your own self. If something takes distraction away from you, that's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's not the girl who's posting a picture of herself and proud and empowered. That's a you problem.
Yeah.
That's what I would say about that.
I know if something distracts me from what I'm doing, then I'm not going to get involved in that aspect whatsoever.
Exactly.
And it's no judgment against that. It's just that's how I am. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like if I know these pictures distract me from doing this work, guess what? I'm not going to go to these pictures, you know? But do I think less of it? Absolutely not.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
that's like going to the bar. You know, I know for me, I can't drink, but drink up. You know what I'm saying? You guys can. I'm not going to hate against you for doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So self-accountability, that's your big thing.
That's my biggest thing, yes.
I feel you. I feel you on that.
So if what I post bothers you, that's a you problem.
That's a you problem.
I like that. You
could
should
block.
Go with that. That's an actual saying. You should go with. That's a you problem.
Yeah, it's a you problem. You can block, unfollow, not look.
So I mean, I've gotten into a couple conversations about that because honestly, I'm not huge into a lot of posts like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
It's because you're married. Go ahead.
Good man.
Go ahead.
God.
Go ahead.
but at the same time, I think if you'd asked me that when I was 21, hell yeah, you see this girl's ass? Like,
You'd be
oh, it
dope
looks
as happening.
great. Like, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing, right? And then
Yeah.
if I was 21, I'd be like, yo, I went to school with her, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I think I have to agree with you, ironically, because honestly, usually when it comes to these topics, I have a lot of disagreements. But I think if you have a certain level of self accountability, understand there's some men, and I'm going to use men in general right now because we're talking about your pictures, your modeling photos, those types of things. Men, hold yourself accountable a little bit. I know there's a lot of preach about men don't get to be men in today's generation, and I do think that every man should have an aggressive trait. I think that every man should be fucking dominant. Even if you're considered a beta or whatever, huh?
And woman.
But I think that in today's generation, there's a lot of flack when it comes to being a man and being aggressive and doing those, being fucking testosterone filled a little bit. But at the same time, like I think, I can't remember his name. Peterson, he's like a therapist, whatever, real popular guy, but. He says you should be a fucking animal, right? You should be able to hurt people around you, but be able to control yourself. You don't use it, right? But you should be that. You should be that type. Be the type of guy that can look at it and it's cool. It doesn't distract you. Self accountability.
Yes.
So, I'd have to agree with you. Which is, like I said, that's a little bit weird, especially when we talk about Avery. But I'm not gonna lie, you got me on that one. So
It's different.
Good.
I think Avery's generation is gonna be different from this generation because every generation is different. Every 10 years, this changes drastically. Like what we do now, I'm uncomfortable with. Like, how do you go from? I had MySpace. I thought that was cool as hell.
Same.
Then all of a sudden, now we have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm like, no, I'm good. I want to go back to MySpace. I can go pick my 5 favorite, and I'm good. That's everyone else is just. Everyone else.
I'm pretty sure the only reason you have social media is to promote the podcast.
For this. That's
what up, though?
Is you got to have, I think back in the day, you had a level of privacy and people only seen what you wanted them to see. Now, the content, you just want to stay relevant. So some days you don't want to post, but you have to because you have to continue to push
You know what's so
narrative.
crazy is that because I'm doing what is I love, I never feel like I never get that feeling. I never feel like, I don't want to do this. Like I always, whether I have a full face of makeup on, a full outfit, or I'm barefaced in my pajamas, like I have fun doing that. Like it brings me joy. It brings me happiness to do that. So it's like I get enjoyment on it's never a job. And it's so crazy. People used to tell me that when I was younger. Like, find what you love to do, your passion, what you're good at, and it will never feel like you're working. And that's facts because I never feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm just having a great time posting and the rest is history. Like,
just do you.
Just do me.
I want to go into a snippet of your very first post. What was that like?
First when?
The very first one. After you put your 2-week notice in and you say, I'm going to do this full time, March.
Oh, I was happy as hell. I was so happy. I felt on top of the world. Like, I was like, I did that. Like, I did that for me. I can't remember. I don't have my phone with me, but I can't remember exactly what post it was, like what picture it was. But it's like I felt the most confident that I've ever felt in my whole entire life. Like, I felt like I got this. I can do this. You know what I mean? And I've always been into, like, fashion and things like that. So, like, I'll do reels. I like comedy. I like motivation stuff, inspiration stuff. I like, you know, modeling stuff when it comes to certain brands and things like that. But, like, I just was like, this is where I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm supposed to be doing this.
I mean, so
Now-
by doing that, go ahead, Chris.
This is my shit.
Now let me ask you: do you do your own makeup, your
Yes.
own dress up?
Yes.
Everything.
Everything. Down to my makeup, my outfits, my pictures.
That in itself
my
is art.
videos.
Just prepping up prior
Oh, it's a
to
lot.
your to your
Yes.
modeling,
Yes.
to your pictures.
Yes,
You know.
it's a lot. The locations, I drive to my locations. I do all of it by myself. I have actually, I have a few things coming up I can't really speak about, but I have a few things coming up. Stay tuned. But
Watch out now.
yeah, so I have a few things coming up with, you know, a couple photographers and things like that where I'm actually going to start venturing out into other people. But yeah, I did it all on my own. Like, and I love it.
That's amazing.
I love it.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's an amazing story.
Thanks.
That's actually pretty fucking G Unit.
Yeah.
G Unit, baby. That's what I'm talking about. So
G-Unit.
we interrupt this episode to bring you Joe's Backyard Barbecue, a delicious, amazing, gourmet type backyard barbecue meal with the most amazing service and the most amazing person that you can have at the helm, cooking those amazing ribs, the amazing brisket, and all the wonderful spices and barbecue sauce that you can imagine. So if you're in the Lake Worth, Florida area, make sure you go and see your boy Joe at Joe's Backyard Barbecue. And now, back to the episode. I think we got to get into our next segment of the podcast, right? So we are going to be talking about, what is it called? It is called Joe's Spice of the Month.
Yes.
Right? So what we do is, in case you don't know the rules,
Okay.
right? So we have what's called Joe's Spice of the Month. It's basically you got to hit me with your best vibe that you've had in the past month, right?
Vibe?
Yes, the best vibe, and that can be anything. It can be anything from just waking up to a good ass morning. It can be seeing your your kid come home with straight A's or whatever the fuck it is. What is your vibe that hits you in the lesson? We're gonna start at the end though. We're gonna start at the end with Kanye. And like I said, it can be absolutely anything that you come across. The smallest thing or the biggest thing, doesn't matter. You got to hit me with the best vibe that you have.
I mean, for me, it's my son coming to me and telling me, Daddy, I don't want anything for Christmas. I just want you to light this bitch up. So with that being said, like going all out for Christmas decorations and decorating my house, I feel like one of those people that people make fun of that are decorating the house before the holidays, before Thanksgiving and all those good
who
things.
makes fun of that?
I mean, I used to be one of those people,
mean,
but nevertheless, you know what?
I'm so sorry. I forgot. I'm a piece of shit right now. By the way, this segment is brought to you by Joe's Backyard Barbecue.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So
Get them good ribs.
Get them good ass fucking ribs, a good chicken, the brisket, all that good shit. But either way, so my bad.
I just wanted to go on a tangent about that, like buying life size blow up animals outside and so on and so forth. And I want to say it was something crazy as I'm going shopping and buying those things. It was a guy behind me. I told you guys this a little bit earlier, and my son has all these blow up dolls inside the. I say blow up dolls. That's bad, but blow up items inside the cart. And this guy behind me is staring at me. And he's staring at my son the whole time. And I'm like, you get a little uncomfortable as a parent. Like, man, stop looking at my son like that. So I move my son in front of me. and he's just staring over and over and over. So I pay, and I'm getting ready to leave. And he's like, "You can't leave yet." He was like, "Go get more stuff for him." And I was like, "You don't see this cart is full? We got everything we need." And he hands me cash in my hand, and he tells me, "Go get more stuff." So my son goes to the back of the store and buys 4 more guns, and he can't wait to have fun in that regard. So I always tell people,
Nerf guns.
Nerf guns. But nevertheless, it was just an amazing feat. I was like, bro, I can buy whatever I want my son to have. But just the mere fact he was like, don't take it the wrong way. I miss my son being that age. Aww. So if I can just make that experience just a little bit better, allow me to do so. So that was my moment. And I'm going to carry that on. I tell everyone, do a good deed for someone else. I want to pay it forward in that regard. I can't wait to go back shopping.
Oh, that was cute.
I'm going to give that golf clap. That's like
awesome.
Good shit right there.
That's
cute. A vibe. That's a good vibe.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
What you got for me, Chris?
Well, my vibe this week is kind of what you've been saying the whole time is don't doubt yourself and say that you are as good as the best. You are the best. I've been working with a guy. I worked with a guy this Friday, man. I install pool cages is what I do. Mm-hmm. And he's been doing this for a good 10 to 15 years. So he's considered one of the best installers. So I kind of look up to this man, you know. I've been doing it for about 5 years, you know. And I was doing some work. And he was doing work on the other side as I'm doing work on the opposite side. And I just go up and kind of look at his work and, see what he's doing and see how it looks and all that. And I start to notice that, my shit looks exactly the same as his shit, as this guy that's about, he's got 10 more experience years than me, and it helps me tell myself that, yeah, dude, there's no difference between me and this man right here, who's got way more experience. My work looks exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? And it used to doubt me. It used to be a big fear in my life for a while that, I'm coming up in this field and all these guys know this and that. And I just got a promotion. I'm a lead man, on the job. I'm the foreman on the job. So
you just got a promotion? Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like she said, more money.
I got my own crew. I lead my own crew now. So, and it scares me because it's the first time I've ever done something like that. I've always been led, not to lead. So now leading and kind of checking out, seeing what some of these other professional leaders have been doing, and noticing that my work is the same as theirs gives me more confidence to say, hey, man, I can do this. This is something that I can do.
Yes.
That's badass.
Yes,
and the problem
period.
is fear, is fear. That's my problem. Telling myself that, it's not as good as, and it might not be as good in the beginning, but with practice and continuing, mm-hmm. I'm the same as anybody else.
That's good shit. That's good.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Let me just give it.
I'm gonna give him the black hand side. Little black hand side.
All right. Miss Jagie, what you got?
I think, what was it, the vibe of the week or vibe of the
We're going to go vibe of the month. Vibe of the month. Because right now we're releasing one a month. We split it up.
So the month, honestly, my vibe of the month is my son, Jeremiah. The other day, I was having a day of kind of self-doubt. Not a day. I don't allow a day, like 5 minutes. But it's something about a little boy that can just tell when his mom is just not 100% like she usually is. Mm-hmm. And he came up to me and he kissed me on my face and he loved and gave me affection. And he's like, I just love you, mommy. You're the best. And I love everything you're doing. And you're so pretty. And when he said, let me tell you, when he said that, it was just like, yep, I'm doing the right thing. I'm supposed to be doing this. This is what I'm supposed to be going towards, like just for a little boy to see his mom and have that relationship with his mom. It was so beautiful. And it was just like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm on the right path, because if my kids love me, if my kids believe in me, it's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Shit.
That's awesome.
Shit.
Yeah, that is awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. That's very passionate.
Oh, thank you.
I'm not gonna lie. listening to all three, I feel very inferior now. Because
Well, you should.
yeah,
Yeah,
I do. I
Yes,
feel
you
very
should.
inferior.
Chris aim for greatness.
Yeah,
so
my
you-
vibe's
you-
bigger than yours.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not gonna lie. My vibe was a little bit different, right? My vibe. So imagine yourself, right? It's 11:30 at night. You're watching Netflix, right? Say if you're with somebody.
Netflix and chill. Go ahead. Stay
No,
toxic.
if you're with somebody or if you're alone, right? And you're just kind of chilling, and all of a sudden you hit that little rumble right in your stomach, and you're like, "Damn, your boy
done.
or your girl's
Where is
hungry."
this going?
Oh no! I'm right there with you. Go ahead. Go ahead. Got the run with the tumble. Go
Talk
ahead.
to me.
Go ahead.
Next thing you know, all of a sudden your boy is like, "Fuck, I could use a little nightcap." You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about alcohol. I'm talking about that little pushover. Maybe that little sweet. Maybe that little salt.
Taco
maybe,
Bell.
Maybe that little T-bell you got
TB,
going
right.
on.
I don't
Right?
know
I
who
know we
going
had it in the
TB.
last pod. You talk about your T-bell order, but I'm talking about that midnight snack that just fucking hits you, and you go into that kitchen. And you pull open that freezer, you open that refrigerator, or you open that cabinet, and you just see that one thing that you just fucking, oh shit, I'm about to go to sleep because I'm about to eat this shit. You know what I'm talking about? Great example. Not always big on it, but for some odd reason, I don't drink a lot of milk and I don't eat a lot of cereal. But the other night, dude, your boy got up, couldn't sleep, right? I had NCIS on, I had a bunch of TV shows on. I'm like, man, I don't know what the fuck I got to do. I got to go to sleep. I got to get up at 4. I got to go to the gym. Next thing you know, I look in there, I see this box of Lucky Charms. And I see the most delicious
Lucky Charms out of everything.
midnight fucking snack
What is
of
happening right now?
all time.
That sounds like the munchies.
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
bro.
did you smoke?
No. Actually, your boy's never smoked. Not once in his life.
Never.
No.
Went to college with him. Tried to do everything with
No,
him.
not
Whoa.
once. So next thing you know, your boy's slamming down this bowl of Lucky Charms.
Big bowl, small bowl.
Come on, bro.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a big man for a big bowl. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I got the excessively large bowl of Lucky Charms. Ruined the whole fucking week diet just because of the Lucky Charms. But my vibe of the month is going to that midnight snack where sometimes you just can't go to sleep and you're just yearning for something, and you open that freezer, you open that refrigerator, and that shit's right there, and you're like, dude, I'm about to slam this shit.
That's why I
because
keep
it's
cheesecake.
so fucking good.
Yeah.
And the moment you get done,
Yes.
right, you're able to just pass right out and sleep like a fucking baby.
Period. All right, there
That's
you
what
go.
I'm talking
There
about.
you go. Good job. Good
That's
job.
that
Good
good
job.
When
good
you said the
job.
rumble in the tummy, I was like, I don't know where you're going with this one, but I'm glad
Listen.
you made that go full
You
circle.
guys have a lot of negative, negative thought processes. It's not my fault. I enjoy the little things in life.
Got you.
And when your boy has that midnight snack urge, bro, sometimes you got to find something special.
Lucky
Yeah,
Charms
there
are
you
good.
go. There you go. There
Lucky
you go.
Charms are good.
Absolutely. Lucky Charms are absolutely fucking delicious. But we'll get into a debate about cereals one other day. So we did one night. I remember we were actually sitting on the back porch, and we were sitting out by the pool, and yeah, I was lit. I was
Chocolate wasted.
Yeah, I was chocolate wasted. But I remember we get into it because we had just started putting together the podcast, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I'm really I'm motivated, and this is something I've always wanted to do for
Right.
the longest time." And I look at everybody sitting there. There was like 6 people sitting there, and I look around at everybody. All right, here's the camera right now. Rank your favorite cereals right now. Like, hammered.
He's already doing it. Hammered, passing
Hammered,
out.
wasted. It was terrible. I couldn't believe what I was doing.
Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
But either way, so we're gonna close this bitch out.
Yes.
Number one, I think our real big message of today is to manifest, self-manifest.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Empower
yes.
yourself.
Don't chase after nothing. Manifest it. Act as if you already have what it is that you have, and you will have it. Don't chase nothing. Anything you chase runs away from you.
And work your ass off.
And work your ass off.
Do the things you want to do in life.
Yes.
So that's absolutely fantastic. So on an ending note, we want to make sure you guys, we want to make sure you know that we appreciate you guys for listening in. We really value every single view, every single listen, every single click, every single like, every single comment. We value all those things more than you could ever imagine. But I do want to motivate every single person listening. Go in and hit that button. Starts with an S, ends with subscribe. Okay, hit that button for us. All right,
subscribe.
give me a little bit of like, right? Give me a comment, right? And then, as a matter of fact, we should have actually. We're gonna post a little bit of your social media stuff.
Oh, are you?
Oh shit! You just found out.
Just,
So
just,
make
just
sure you guys go in.
A little protein.
Yeah, give a little bit of
A little bit more
creatine.
creatine. A little bit more.
Give Miss Jagie here a little bit of a follow.
Yes.
As you know, we're all trying to move ourselves up in the world, but once again, I can't say it enough. Go in, hit that subscribe button, baby. Make sure you hit that like button. All right. Make sure you comment. Leave comments. We love comments, even if you're talking shit. That's what we want to see. We want to be able to respond to you guys, right? So make sure you guys go in, hit the subscribe button, find us on all our social media pages. We all got Facebook, we got Instagram, we got TikToks, we got all the shit. And make sure you go into our YouTube channel. Or if you're on Apple or Spotify or anywhere you listen to audio, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as our first female guest, we want to say thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Absolutely.
Yes. Giving a great female perspective.
So much fun.
Yes.
And we appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And it's all love. And the final note, make sure you guys be riding, keep vibing, and above all else, stay shining.
I got one more thing, guys, before you guys get out. Before you, if you don't like us, that's a you problem.
That's a you
that's
problem.
We're gonna just bring it back to that's a you
It's not
problem.
an us problem.
So now
Told
you
everybody to pound sand.
pound sand. I'm taking that with me. Like,
But
it's
do
some
me a
things
favor,
that's
after you
problem.
decide you don't like us, make sure you hit that subscribe
Yeah, hit that
button.
subscribe anyway.
Yeah.
You can put the thumbs down. I'm
Leave
okay.
that
That's still a
comment.
you
Make sure you
problem.
talk
Whatever you want
Yeah.
to do, do
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Hell
do that,
yeah.
do
That's
that.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So.
See it.
Bye.